Have you ever wondered why nobody says not all women? Like, I've told y'all before, I go and spend time on Reddit in different places in the manosphere, the red pill, the pill community, so that you don't have to because it's not pleasant. But I think it's important to keep an eye on these growing communities in our society. And the thing I always see online when you're in like feminist communities or pro women communities or whatever, or even like abuse survivor communities, is men will come in and say, not all men, not all men, it's not all men. And there's a lot to be said about that, like a lot. I'm going to make some other videos about that. But I literally never hear women say that or respond in that manner when men attack women. And I think the reason why is because we all know it's not all women. We all know that already. Even the men in these misogynistic communities that are trying to act like it's not all women, no, it's not all women. And yes, women can be abusive. Women can be violent towards other women, towards children, and towards men. I've seen it. I've seen both of those things. But it's not a fucking epidemic. That's the difference. That's why when women talk about patriarchal men or abusive men or narcissistic men or issues with gender relations in our society, you always have a flood of comments coming in various forms saying, not all men. Which, I mean, yeah, they are partially trying to say, well, not me. I mean, there's a whole lot of things they're trying to say with that. But the reason that the men are saying that is because they already know that it's an epidemic. They know. They know that the violence rates are so high that even though most women know it's not all men, we are forced to act like it could be any man, especially any man that we don't know or don't know well. We are forced to act in a self-protective manner because the rates of violence and abuse and unaliving and IPV and everything else are so insanely high. So yeah, obviously, it's not all men. And then, yes, there are some feminist creators who say it's all men, just like there are misogynistic creators who say that it is all women. But there is a difference. Even the women saying that it's all men, they're speaking from a place of self-protection and a place of trying to regain power. So when women, even when women say it's all men, what it's not the same thing as when men say it's all women. Because when women say it's all men, they just generally want to be left alone, if that's their belief. Me personally, I think it's not all men. I think, though, that the numbers are so incredibly high that it is an epidemic. Now, when men say all women, that is coming from a place of power and historical oppression. So it's an entirely different statement. It's kind of similar to when you say Black Lives Matter, and then people say, well, all lives matter. On the surface, those seem like two statements that are both reasonable and equal, but they are completely ignoring the history and the disparity in power and privilege between those two groups that caused the first group to say Black Lives Matter, because we wouldn't have to say Black Lives Matter if all lives were really treated like they matter in our society. So then when you say all lives matter, you are refusing to acknowledge the systemic abuse in our society and saying that merely to negate what the other person is saying with a seemingly reasonable statement. That's the exact same thing that men are doing when they say not all men. Well, not the exact same thing, but it is a similar thing to what men are doing when they say not all men. They are trying to negate and make it seem like it's a fair playing ground, or these people who come into the comments with the both sidesism. Well, misandry and misogyny are both bad. We need to end both of them. Okay, but only one of them is an epidemic that has caused irreparable harm to a large portion of the population. So one of those is considerably more powerful and dangerous than the other. But that's why you never hear women say, not all women, because we know it's not all women. And they know it too.